I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. This is about perfectly bringing together both intention and surrender. So I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if I should call it divine masculine, divine feminine. I don't know. I'm just saying, how can we balance these things? Let's talk about that in this video. I just launched email coaching, so if you want to be a part of that, all the details will be down below. Now, the key in my experience to balance the divine masculine and divine feminine energies is first of all, you got to know why you're doing what you're doing. I think this is like a lost art that society just has forgotten, like long forgotten. Like knowing why you're doing what you're doing, and not feeling guilty about that too, right? That's a whole other thing that I'm going to get to in a moment here, but not feeling guilty about wanting what you want and knowing why you're going where you're going. Right? Think about how much conditioning, how much programming there is around wanting to go in a certain direction and then feeling all this guilt and this shame and this negativity and these negative emotions and the fear and the sadness. Think about how crazy that is. Like, is that how it should be? Not in my opinion, that's not how it should be. In my reality, that's not how it is. And if I notice that coming up within myself, I understand that there's something that I need to navigate through. I need to navigate through something. Not away from something, through something. So I found it useful to hold my vision in my mind's eye and know where I'm going, right? And you could even call this divine intention. So I'm going to get into later how to balance the feminine, but the first step is to know why you're doing what you're doing and not to feel guilty about that. And that's where the divinity comes in, is when you know where you're going, but then you drop the shame around it. You drop the, I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't feel like I should go in this direction. So it's like you're going in a direction and you want that ease and you want that alignment, right? But then at some point there's a friction in the consciousness where it's like, I shouldn't want this. And that's just the ego. That's the ego. The whole point of life is to embody as much as possible of what exists into reality. Bring in that imagination into reality. That's what I believe, at least, what we're here to do. What else? Do you have a better alternative? You know what I mean? So I found it useful to understand that when I can hold my vision in my mind's eye and know why I'm doing what I'm doing, that's when things get really powerful for me. And I realized that I can have what I want and at the same time also feel how I want to feel. So the key is also to trust the emotional body as well. That's what I found to be useful, is to trust the emotional body, right? I think that is a lost art in society, is knowing why you're doing what you're doing, knowing where you're going, knowing where your intention is in your life in this moment. And by the way, P.S., it can change moment to moment. So you don't need to be necessarily committed to one vision in your mind's eye for an extended period of time. Because think about it, if you're committed to that intention and then it stops feeling in alignment to you, then you want to even drop that intention too. And that's where the divinity comes in, because your intentions can change moment to moment. But if you start to own that more fully, you start to get closer to what your heart and soul really wants, and you start to get the bigger picture. You would think that if you trust what you feel you need moment to moment, and by the way, of course, this is the only moment that exists now, you would think that if you, in each moment, completely 100% and completely fully and consciously do whatever you're doing 100% and trust how you feel, you would think that everything would just fall apart and things would go terribly, right? That's what you would think. That's what the ego will try to tell you. At least that's what my ego tries to tell me. And I've noticed again and again and again, through courage and through being fearless, being in an energy of, let's just see what happens, I've noticed that again and again, the ego is lying, and it's not telling us the truth most of the times. Actually, in my experience, it is in fact quite the opposite, that when you completely trust how you feel and you know where you're going, you manifest everything that you want perfectly and even more. And the question is, can you handle that? Or are you going to feel guilty about that? Are you going to feel shameful around that? Self-shame? Self-created resistance along the way to what your heart actually wants? That's the conditioning. Now, what I want to ask you is, what beliefs, this is just a question you can ask yourself, what beliefs am I holding on to that doesn't resonate for me? Because let me ask you this, don't you think it would be a good idea to walk through the world in your body, the feeling in your body, to have feelings in your body that correspond with the beliefs that you actually want? And these things, of course, go hand in hand. In other words, don't you think it would be, to say the least, pretty preferable idea to only have the ideas and do the things that you actually love, and to feel not shameful about that? Right? And don't you think it would be good to have beliefs, like just overall, that you actually feel good in? If somebody told you a belief that doesn't resonate for you, why are you holding on to that? Think about that. Think about that. Because it is a choice, in fact, to have beliefs in your consciousness that you do not like and don't prefer. It is a choice. It is absolutely a choice. And to believe that it is a choice is also a choice. So what beliefs are you holding on to? Is there anything that you can let go of because it's just not helping you to feel how you want to feel? Is there anything that you can let go of? What are you holding on to? Now, I want to conclude this video by asking you, are you living, you can ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my intention? And then tune into how you feel, how you truly feel. And understand that if you're feeling all this resistance and all this guilt and all this shame and this negativity coming up on the way to your manifestation, well, there's multiple things that could be happening there, but one thing that could be happening is that you're simply not in alignment anymore with who you want to be. So then you feel the guilt, and then you start swaying off in this completely different direction that does not align with you having what you want. Having. Because you can have what you want now. That's the key, right? Is to be in alignment with having what you want now. Having it. Not feeling guilty and shameful and negative and fearful and sad on the way to it, and then maybe one day you can feel a little bit of energy you're having. Oh, I finally earned it, now I can let go. What? Is that the type of reality you want? That's not the type of reality I want. So the key is to start to drop the shame now. You know what I mean? Drop the shame now. Why drop it later? Why not drop it right now? Because the thing is, this is the only moment that exists, right? So if we keep feeding into a program where we have to feel shameful now to feel better later, well, I'll just conclude the video with, that's not part of my reality. Once again, I just launched email coaching. All the details will be below for that. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.